Dire team ban.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our second game of the night, Power of Friendship versus EnemyGG. We've seen EnemyGG, of course, lose Infamous in our last series. Power of Friendship here, we're a little bit late, so we're still playing against Archon. But Archon, kindly enough, they rounded out that game pretty fast, considering here, so now we are here. My name's Strangdrop. I said that already, I don't even know anymore. But I'm joined once again by the co-caster, who's definitely... How are you doing?
Radiant team.
Oh, wow, you cut out for a long time there, so I was like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was some
I'm
sort
doing
of
great, dude.
things.
I'm doing so fantastic. Last game was pretty interesting, but I'm looking forward to a good game right now. Power of Friendship, of course, not having the easiest time versus Archon. They got 1-2'd, or 2-1'd rather, my bad. So not too bad, but still showing they have a lot of power. Of course, Power of Friendship, before they played against Leviathan the other day, were in a bit of a slump. Now they're having a little bit more luck, but still need to really pull it together. I think they do have the leg up in this matchup. But EnemyGG, they definitely have the power, especially in a best of one, to outdo them for the game win. So EnemyGG, we might see the typical Avenge or Witch Doctor game picked up first, but they're going to go ahead and surprise a little bit and grab themselves a first picked Invoker.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want to give that over to Power of Friendship either. I mean, Slicks has been playing that hero so often that I actually have to dig deep to find a game where he hasn't played that, or where he played a different hero, which of course he should have at some point, but I just can't remember it as much. But hey, EnemyGG, not gonna let that happen. They're snagged up for themselves, but that does leave the Death Prophet in the pool, and I've wondered when we would see that hero again, because in my eyes it's still completely and utterly broken inside the mid lane. Again, in most matchups really, and up against the Invoker, maybe less so than against others, but still very, very strong.
And speaking of very, very strong, the Death Prophet Chen is just going to be incredibly difficult to play against now. Death Prophet on her own is really, really good. All right, especially against Invoker. Her skill set just makes it really easy to kind of run him down and blow him up in very little amount of time. And the Chen, his constant ganking is going to make Invoker's life very difficult. Also, Invoker doesn't really do too well with multiple targets at once. That is until he gets a couple points in both Wex and Exhort, in which case he does have some good AoE damage. But again, until then, he's more single target than anything, and the Chen army might be a little bit too much for him, especially with any sort of lockdown or slows if a couple of trolls come in and can hit him, or even if Chen just harasses the lane with something like a Harpy Stormcrafter. It's going to be very difficult for the Invoker to deal with the Death Prophet incoming damage. I really like the bounty, though. I think he's going to have a good time trying to scout out the Chen earlier on, maybe sap his experience, or just be a general nuisance around the map. Also, ganking the mid lane could be very important. But for right now, neither team going for an incredibly standard draft. I think both coming a little bit out of left field for this one.
Yeah, I really like the bounty hunt as well. It's one of the more classic counters to Chen, if you will. Just as you said, be a nuisance. That's what that hero's really, really good at, even with very few levels, unless you can make kills happen somewhere. And with the Invoker's Sunstrike on the field, it is definitely more likely than you may think, even with a solo bounty hunter, maybe just a little bit of help in the lane he's going into. Yeah, you can make a lot happen, and later down the line you can rely on a track to kind of catapult the rest of your team up and above where they need to be to take care of the game, essentially. But well, a couple of bands coming out, Beastmaster as well as the Nature's Prophets, so focusing on the offlane here for EnemyGG. The Ursa taken out, so don't want to give that to BSJ if you're Power of Friendship either. Same for the Slug, and now the Vengeful Spirit gonna come out on their side, which is... also don't hate that either.
10 seconds remaining.
Just so solid of a hero.
Seems like both teams are starting to pick up their supports a little bit
5
more. I think
seconds
EnemyGG,
remaining.
again, they can go for that Witch Doctor, which they're pretty comfortable with. In the past, running against
Reserve
something like a
time,
Death
10
Prophet, it
seconds
was the
remaining.
Venge Wyvern that they ran, but of course Venge isn't going to be open for this one. They
Dire
grabbed themselves a
team pick.
Darkseer. I don't know how to feel about this one right now. The Bounty Hunter already being picked up as, I guess, now a roaming style, which is more popular now.
Radiant
I don't think we
team
see
pick.
many solo off-lane Bounty Hunters. Slardar, fantastic pick against that Bounty Hunter, by the way, but is not going to be the end all as prop. Who goes Greaves here? I think this is more of a Darkseer getting the mechanism and possibly even the Greaves. A Bounty Hunter, I'm not quite sure. Typically he'll buy them, but this game we might see something a little different.
The weird thing about this combination is that on paper it's super annoying, right? You
Dire
put the
team
Iron
back.
Shot on the Invis Bounty Hunter,
Yeah,
be a little bit
that's
cheeky
too
in the offlane.
cheesy.
But the weird dichotomy is that that actually doesn't really have a really high win rate the last time I checked. So I'm not sure if that's changed in the meantime, but it definitely was the case at one point, and that really
Radiant
comes down to
team
maybe
banned.
maybe what you were talking about. That they both kind of want to be the utility heroes later down the line, building up the same sort of
Dire
item progression. I mean,
team
sure, Bounty Hunter, he can go for like the Desolator, Dagon, these kind of builds, but they're more like pop strats, not really having a real
Radiant
place
team
in this level of play. So maybe that's why, but as the draft continues, the slot up against them, as I said, very good. Gyrocopter, solid as a carry here as it gets. I think it's yeah, exceptionally useful up against the Chen as well with a flag cannon later down the line, kind of taking the script out of the equation somewhat. But this Weaver last pick here for Power of Friendship, how do you feel about that?
I
10 seconds remaining.
don't know what to feel right now because I think Weaver's a little bit squishier. So
5
the main
seconds
point here
remaining.
is that Darkseer, Gyrocopter, and Invoker are pretty much the Wombo combo right now.
Reserve
It's going to be
time.
very tough
5
to push
seconds
high ground
remaining.
against this combo because Darkseer, Gyro, Invoker, they all have really decent wave clear. The Rubik last pick, I think I'll talk about in a little bit, but I don't think the Weaver is going to be able to survive that well if fighting comes out really early. The flip side to this, however, is that if fights go really long and EnemyGG don't combine their spells into that major either wombo combo or combine them on a smaller level to deal a lot of damage, and the Weaver should just be able to kind of play around in the fight, extend the fight, and deal a good chunk of damage over a long period of time to end up winning said fight. So to go to the Rubik pick, I'm not totally sure I'm 100% spent on this one. He's got
Prepare
decent
for
wave
battle.
clear with the Fade Bolt, so any sort of pushing coming in with Power of Friendship should see a little bit of hardship. But as far as spells to steal, he's got a somewhat decent roster of them, but nothing to really make me say, yeah, this is an ace in the whole pick. I think he's just a good kind of fallback, generally good hero at what he does, but nothing really stands out about it.
I mean, there's always the Shikuchi, right? It's just one of the better spells to have. So maybe that's what I'm thinking. Just make sure that the Rubik has a lot of freedom in these fights to do what he can. But yeah,
I don't know if he's got a lot of freedom. There's a lot of damage coming in. I'm not sure the Rubik's going to be able to survive.
Yeah.
Like, he's prime target #1 for that Weaver. You throw out the Swarm, Rubik, not really being known for his armor or his HP pool, is going to go down in 2 or 3 hits.
Yep. Especially if these fights do take a little bit longer, which is exactly the type of fights that you want to take anyway if you Power Friendship. Not just with the Weaver, but also with the Death Prophet, right? Just the ability to stay alive and do damage over a long period of time with the Exorcism, with the constant Crypt Swarm. Plus the Weaver bugs and the right clicks, Shikuchiing in and out, just the kind of fight that you want to take, and that you're also able to make happen with someone like a Chen on the back, with the starter constantly being able to re-engage. So in that sense, very well-rounded lineup for POF. But as the runes are happening in a 1-and-1 exchange, no real action happening. Let's introduce ourselves really quickly once again for the guys who are just tuning in. Welcome, my name is Dragondrop, I'm joined by Chicago Ted, and these are the teams of Power Friendship. We've got Way2, the captain, maybe on the Chen, Mario playing the Vengeful Spirit, not a Zeus unfortunately, so hey, can't have everything. Sneaking on the Weaver, the skimming bug on top, Slicks taking over that Death Road mid, that only leaves MJW on that offlane Slaughter.
Alright, and looking for EnemyGG, we have Slayer on the Invoker with Sovereign, playing the Darkseer, kind of a jungling style in the off lane. Flying Zebra is going to be on the Bounty Hunter, with Banana Slam Jamma on that bottom lane playing the carry Gyrocopter. And finally, Frozen, not my favorite pick, but still a pick nonetheless. It is going to be the Rubik. And a little bit of a kickback there with that Slayer, kind of reminding me a bit of Halo. That's why I was feeling that one right there. But coming out into this game, you know, a couple of things I'm really noticing here is there's a lot of synergy right now in both of their drafts, but for different reasons. We already talked about the Wombo combo for EnemyGG, as well as the Bounty Hunter, of course, helping every single one of them, maybe aside from the Rubik, but even with the Rubik, who tends to like to get Blinks and Aghanim Scepters, so the track is really good for all of EnemyGG. But then you look to Power of Friendship, and Banana Slam Jammer is going to have such a hard time because they have a whole lot of minus armor to eliminate. I mean, he is not very squishy. His main thing is the fact that he's got a decent armor pool. You get rid of all of that, and he's essentially a flying ranged creep. So he's going to have a lot of trouble staying in the fight. There's going to be blinks on him from the Slardar, Scoochie's in from Snake King. It's really just going to, and not to mention swaps out for Mario. It is really just going to be an incredibly difficult game for him to stay alive, and that's kind of why I like the Bounty and the, oh, actually a dust in the top lane, Flying Zebra.
Yeah. There's no stun available here. Mario used it a little bit earlier, but it might just be able to right-click it down at this stage. Yeah. Another wave comes out, and there it is, yeah. Even sneaking, making his way in here. Way too was the one snagging it up, but yeah, it was just a little bit too cheeky. Gotta watch out for that if you're Bounty Hunter. Sure, you got the creep from the Chen, which is a nice little big tomato, but if you pay with it for your life, especially if it's the first blood, not exactly worth it.
Yeah, and you see he immediately purchases boots right after that. Like, it's good that he's able to buy boots, but boots is going to make it a lot easier. Now in the mid lane.
We can slow down by Flying Zebra, the Sunstrike will hit, but now it just turns around with a Verify, as well as a single Spirit Siphon.
God, that's such an annoying spell.
It is. Kind of want to break it, so you have to walk away, but...
I mean, that turned that from entirely from a gank into a full-on trade for the mid laners. Slicks and Slayer both walking away from that one with the same amount of HP. But I think I was coming to an earlier point, and I'll quickly finish it up. That's why I like Sovereign and Bounty Hunter against that minus armor strategy, is because they both tend to build some items to mediate that. Mech, Vlads, bottom lane.
Just straight up that here in the bottom lane. But hey, BSJ is in there with a nice little Rocket Rush, and MJW with the sprint going takes so much damage from that, but not quite enough to bring him down. With rotation in from Wade and Mario, they will not only clean up the Rubik, but as a result of that kill attempt from Gyrocopter to him as well. So BSJ, not really off to a good start in this game.
Oh yeah, and it's just going to stay a really tough game for him, especially if they continue ganking like that. I think I've made my point previously, so I will kind of drop that a little bit, but that gank train looked like it was almost going to go in towards the mid lane initially, but then there was a whole lot of stuff happening, and the Bounty Hunter was there. I don't think they wanted to complete that one, so they went bottom. They got 2 kills, fantastic gank for them. So even if they do just kind of sit back and farm up the next couple of minutes and be worth it, but it seems they want more. And Mario and Way2 are just going to kind of group up and maybe go again for this bottom lane. It looks like actually they're just taking stacks right now. This is fantastic use of their time, tripling EnemyGG while at the same time bolstering up their own ability to stay in. And Snaking, of course, not having too bad of a time. Up top, the Ion Shells mean nearly nothing to him. It just means that Sovereign is going to get a lot of farm out of this one, but I'm not sure they're too worried about that. As more on the bottom, a dust is pop for Flying Zebra, but he's a little bit too far away to engage.
Yeah, what is there to stop POF to do exactly with that right now? I mean, just take over the raid inside jungle. Up against a Rubik who can't really run into 3 of you.
Right.
And the same for Bounty Hunter, really. I mean, he has to be super careful with the detection that POF has invested into him. And that last dust from Way2 obviously kind of a little bit hopeful that Bounty was a little bit closer to them instead of just getting the hell out of there. But still, as you said, taking away the stacks from Gyrocopter later, just crippling his economy even further, at the same time putting on so much pressure in his bottom lane to begin with, keeping him away from even lane last hits.
Yeah, and I think we mentioned in the draft at some point, the fact that they picked up Bounty and then a Darkseer means that their supporting cast is going to be innately weak for the first maybe 10 minutes of the game until that Bounty gets track and at least one supporting item, maybe 2 up.
Middle lane.
But it looks like Slayer might be having a little bit of an issue here. No, sorry, Slick's going to be having a little bit of an issue. Death Prophet getting brought down, and a fantastic gank by Flying Zebra. First one that actually worked for him now. As, again, ganking the mid lane is one of the things you gotta do in this meta, and they do it, they accomplish it, they get their kill, and Slayer finds his slight advantage now in the lane.
Probably the only thing that enabled that to work was that Slicks was very low on mana. He didn't actually have enough mana for a Spirit Siphon, so if he did, he could have potentially turned that around again. So hey, good timing there. Good seeing that that was the case, that he didn't quite have it, that he needed to bottle up. So yeah, they see an opportunity, they take it. Super useful here, especially considering what has already happened here, what POF have already been able to make happen here in this game.
Yeah, and right now, normally I'd be worried for a Rubik, but I'm actually not entirely. He is a weak support right now. He can't really stand up to this lane, can't defend his own jungle, and generally won't be able to save Gyrocopter if they step a little bit out of position or a full-on gank comes bottom. But he is level 4 right now. So as far as his experience is going, this single support and a dual lane is working out fairly good for him. And Banana Slam Gem is about to hit level 6 too, you know, taunting it out, but I mean, this lane, despite them both dying, isn't going as poorly as it could. And of course, Starter is about to hit level 6 as well. But all intents and purposes, I think EnemyGG are all right with how this lane is going. They just need to be constantly careful of the little bug that's still farming up on the top lane, top of the CS board, probably very close to, if not top of the net worth. Yeah, by about 30 gold. But it's just fantastic how well his lane is going, and it's going to continue to get really scary for EnemyGG.
Bottom lane here, caught a bit of a troll trap here, diving in deep with the army of creeps that they have. Mario cutting off Frozen on the edge of it, but can they actually make something happen? Flying Zero is here with the Iron Shell, picked it up top from Doxy. Now the Cauldron comes out, Frozen quite low, but not low enough. It's actually started going down first. A tornado of all things is enough to bring down a Gyrocopter at the end. Flying Zero still looking for though Frozen. Well, he's the next one on the list though, so he's stuck around a little bit too long, but now Slayer coming in to clean house and turn it into a favorable trade for EnemyGG. Meanwhile up top here, okay. Sneaking, diving in deep on Doxy here by the looks of it.
Yep.
Kind of making that a little bit more even across the board now, as a result.
Yeah. That's the power of a Weaver. You can dive under tower like that, and I think Power of Friendship may be getting a little over-aggressive on the bottom lane. I mentioned how Rubik couldn't help the Gyrocopter if they dove him under tower like that, but the difference about that one fight was that it wasn't really a clean dive under tower. They didn't have an exact battle plan going into it, and as such, no one died initially. So eventually it did end up working out in their favor, but it lasted long enough where Slayer was able to react, make his way to the bottom lane, and benefit from that fight as a whole. So also you had to call down from Gyrocopter, which made life absolutely hell for Power of Friendship. But all in all, I wouldn't say either team really benefited from that. I just say individuals benefited from it. So both Invoker, Slayer, and Snaking both got a whole lot out of what just happened, and Snaking will continue to benefit out of what just happened because a lot of focus now is going to be on the bottom lane, whereas top is going to continue to get ignored for the next couple of minutes, and he's going to have his big major item up soon as Flying Zebra on bottom.
Yep. Maybe not the one that they wanted to find here with Slicks and Mario smoked up behind MJW there. Maybe looking for BSJ, who was on his own mission together with Frozen and a Dire Side jungle at the same time. So yeah, just one thing that you can get quite easily, especially with the Amplified damage kind of taking the invis out of the equation. So now that should be a tier 1 tower, falling here to Slicks with the DD rune, just chipping away at it. And freeing up the support to try and stop this push in the middle lane. We've got Mario here, just hiding in the wings, but
yeah, this is a really good use of their time. I mean, when you're going up against a Death Prophet, you want to trade towers. Of course, Slicks getting the bottom one without having to use Exorcism, but EnemyGG put a sizable amount of damage on the mid. They didn't get it, which is a little troublesome, but all they really had was Frozen and Banana Slam Jammer. Slayer kind of going in and out in a very erratic way, so not really putting a dedicated push. Top lane, though, Snaking could be in a bit of trouble.
This would have made here and a couple of right clicks together with Rock Brush, bring him down, move up top. Okay, Sneaking.
Yep.
He died as well. We're watching that one?
I was initially, but then I went towards the mid to try to get in the... Because I didn't think Snaking was actually going to die. Flying Zebra goes in, gets the track, chases them down. The Shuriken brings Snaking so low, and I guess Flying Zebra was able to get a follow-up right-click right as I switched sights into the mid lane because it looked like Snaking was away. But, I mean, I've been wrong before, and of course was wrong now. So, Power of Friendship, I mean, losing Snake King is not good at all. This is a hero that you put a whole lot of time and investment into to get a free lane up top. And when a gank does happen, typically what you'd expect is this carry who's been free farming to be able to either turn it or get away alive. And the fact that neither of those happened was... It's awful to have to play against. And Flying Zebra already level 8 right now. The roaming bounty hunter is level 8. This is really trouble for a Power of Friendship. The more tracks, the more kills that happen from this point forward are going to just continue to snowball EnemyGG. And once again, every single hero does roll the track, and he'll block out a smoke, or at least one of them still. MJW, he's hunting, and we'll find Frozen.
And it gets the Amplifier off. There's the lift, but it's not going to keep MJW away for long. But maybe it'll buy enough time for reactions to come in. There's the TP into the middle lane. And ESJ with the call down, way to the Spriggs. Now Hand of God comes out, kind of keep POF in good fighting shape here. A couple of tracks already out with the Shuriken bouncing. MJW in the front with the sprint has to be super careful. Don't take too much damage, almost dies. Might actually die to Sunstrike.
Yeah, 3 seconds.
Coco wants to try and bring down. I mean, he's still tracked out. And there it is. Just off the mark. Just off the mark. There would have been more than enough to bring him down, but as it stands, just a little bit of an exchange there. Frozen got out, I believe.
Snake King's looking though. He's hunting for a Banana Slam Gemma in his own jungle. But now he's gonna get spotted by Flying Zebra. He's got no way out of this one. He can't Scoochie, or he can't time lapse. Thank you. Wow, I'm dropping the ball right there. He's gonna continue Scoochieing away, which means the time lapse is not gonna come out. And a TP up to the top tower. They're still chasing him. They know exactly where he is. And they're not going to let this one go without at least somewhat of a fight, but it looks like Snake King with one more Scoochie under his belt doesn't even need it. He'll just go ahead and back out. A lot of chase, and it looked like for a second there they may have been able to catch up to him, but it looks like now Power of Friendship want Banana Slam Gemma.
Well, that's just the blink tag on MJW with the amount of farm that he's got on bottom lane. He's been able to make a lot happen with that already, just in terms of pressure, maybe not in terms of kills, but obviously that has been remedied right to hell now. So especially if you get it on Giant Copter, just keeping him down is so crucial, especially if your Weaver, as I said before, has been picked up himself. Just make sure that he still is ahead in the carry game, and now another way to do that is to put more pressure on the tower. They could have maybe brought it down if they wanted to commit some of the gen creeps for it. But unwilling to do that just yet.
Looks like Snake King is going to be going for that Lincoln Sphere build. It's helpful a little bit against EnemyGG. I mean, you can't be immediately orking it up if that's what they were to go for. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the case, but it also locks at a track. So if you're about to get tracked, you see your Lincolns get popped, you immediately Scoochie on out of there, and you should be fine. But looks like Snake King could be in a touch of trouble, has a time lapse if needed, won't need it this time around. Flying Zebra, though, we talked about his level advantage that he just got, and I kind of want to see what items he's going for. So far, it looks like he hasn't really picked up anything major. He's about to get a magic wand, but the track kills haven't entirely been happening yet. And then there's the Power of Friendship. We talked about the minus armor strategy, and here it is. 14 minutes, they'll pick up their first Roshan. And that's a really good Aegis for them to have. They're going to go ahead and put it on MJW, which, I mean, he's the guy that gets straight on into the fight and puts himself in harm's way, so might as well give him the Aegis. But talked about the bounty. He has been buying rewards. That might explain a little bit of item disparity for him. Meanwhile, Frozen, I mean, Bounty's been getting the wards, so where is his gold? It looks like it's in sentries and dusts.
Yeah, he's sitting at the top of the ladder when it comes to that move. Not really surprising considering that it is a Rubik. He kind of feeds on being able to kind of turn around team fights and not die straight off the bat, but that hasn't really happened this game so far. But back to the mid lane, might see a fight in the making. MJW just looking for an opportunity to come in. He does get caught by the shortest range tornado I've ever seen. Yes, you would expect with a prominent invoker who is focused on the Quasi Sword build, as it's so common right now.
Yeah, getting one value point in Wex is usually the way you go if you go cross exhort. You just want to be able to follow up. EMP is, or sorry, not EMP, because you don't use EMP with 1 point in Wex. Deafening Blast, rather, is a really good spell to have at any point in time when you're going the cross exhort build. So the fact that he's got it is really useful. Tornado into Meteor is also incredibly useful. Sometimes you'll go Yules and you don't need the Tornado, but still the Deafening Blast is incredibly strong. And top Snake King in a little trouble, but again, he's got the time lapse if needed. We'll back off. It doesn't seem like Power Friendship, though, they're going to react to that at all. They've got that Aegis. They're not using it for this push in mid lane, mind you, but they're still committing a push in mid lane. Half damage on the tier 2 tower before they back off. That is incredible. This push is so damn hard to stop.
Well, 60 minutes in, Chen Creeps really do a whole lot of work when it comes to that, and they've got a little bit of extra farm with the stolen swarm from the Rubik here, chasing them away at the very least. MJW comes in, finds Slayer here with the stun, but an immediate turnaround. He stuns up though, and Surge Up a swap back here, follow-up stun from Mario and from MJW. Caller comes out a little bit too late, save the Invoker. Now a little bit of turnaround though with the Darkseer wall, way too well for Mario. Also dropping low, same for Slicks. He already expanded his ultimate a little bit earlier. Actually, never mind, it's off cooldown now, turns it around. And yeah, they will bring down Gyrocopter as well. Flying Zebra eats the whole brunt of that just like that. Even without 2 minutes Spirit Siphon charges, they're able to turn us around on the back of the Requiem of Souls and the beautiful counter initiations from MJW every single time.
Yeah, that swarm usage coming out from Frozen was really good at the start of the fight, but I think it almost gave EnemyGG a little bit too much of a false sense of security because they wanted to dive so far. They wanted to get those kills with the swarm down.
Radiant's middle tower.
Of course, being
that
off
sounds
the mark.
like it, that would have been amazing, but I'm not quite sure if it would have been enough to actually kill him, but yeah.
So though, that, I mean, they pushed a little bit too hard. They got a little bit too deep, and it was the same story kind of last game. Banana Slam Jamma, you know, figuring he's a little bit stronger than he actually is, and maybe putting himself into a bad position by trying for a kill that he shouldn't be trying for. And, you know, it's the overextension is one of the most common ways that you give up leads or you end up losing team fights or getting poorly initiated on, is that feeling that you've got the kill, and then you don't get the kill because they're all surrounding you. So I think EnemyGG, they need to tighten it up a little bit, maybe be a little more careful with their initiations or their chases, and they definitely can outlast some team fights right now if they use their spells correctly and if they stay a little bit far back. Bounty Hunter, of course, not really going for the Vlads or anything like that, but they do have a mechanism and very close to a Guardian Greaves if they want one soon on that Darkseer.
What they won't have at the moment is a bottom tier 2 tower though, and they're gonna try and trade, they're gonna keep going up on the top. Coldon already being committed, it might be a good opportunity for them to go in. BSJ is kind of left alone by the rest of the team up on the top lane. MJW, yeah, that is a questionable decision to say the least. I mean, either you commit on a push like this, or you don't, but this is a half-assed kind of thing. Leaving your carry out to dry there.
Yeah, and maybe some miscommunication going on, like, guys, let's push, or maybe cancel their TPs, guys, so I can continue pushing.
Slicks.
None of that really happened.
Slicks finds Sovereign here, Spirit Siphon doesn't want to cross the river though. Same time, Flying Zero just continues scouting out if he runs into Sentry Ward, which they're none of right now. It's a very, very dangerous occupation that he has right now.
So it looks like Banana Slam Jamma is going to be going in for that Yasha build-up, and potentially a Sanjin Yasha coming out for him. It's a little, getting a little late. I mean, it's not a really bad timing anytime soon to get these items out, but really you want to focus on getting those if you are going to go for them, and it seems he wants to fight a lot more. So again, it goes back to, if you're going to fight a little carefully. Being alone under a tier 2 tower probably isn't my definition of carefully, but maybe my definition differs from the players. The point is, though, if he wants to get somewhere in this game, he's got to get some items up, and he's got to get some meat on his bones, because once again, his armor is going to get ruined by Power of Friendship, and his HP pool isn't entirely the greatest. 1000 HP, sure, it's great, but you're almost on par with the enemy Vengeful Spirit at this point. So keep on getting those items, and only return when you absolutely can fight. And either, again, pushing a tier 2 alone, or defending a tier 2 alone, that's not really the fights you want to take.
Yep. Well, speaking of tier 2s, there's another one going down at the top, plus tier 1 already, and the enemy, the only real trade that they got so far was a tier 1 bottom. BSJ also working once again on a tier 2 all alone this time around though. No reaction power of friendship, of course. Why would you react to this if you can just go high ground right the hell
That's a
now
reaction.
with the slicks? Yeah. Oh, you take a tier 2s? Sure, we're gonna take your racks with a Death Prophet ultimate. Quick pause that will not stop that from happening and put Gem sure.
Yep, and both Frozen and Banana Slam Gem have TPs that they want to back off. They so badly want to get these tier 2 towers. Looks like Banana might just try and get that tower alone while his racks are getting pushed down. The tier 3 will end up falling. Is he going to come back?
I think he has to. He's sneaking gets caught a little bit though with the vacuum into the meteor, but it just time-lapses it off. Now Frozen is actually in the midst of it. Sovereign goes down first though, to all that burst damage, call down, just trickling and slowing them down, but well, what can they really do? They're chasing once again. I guess with the ultimate from Slick's ending, it's a little bit of a better idea than it was before. They do get MJW.
Yep, that's huge.
I keep Chukuching in and out. They do get it on Mario, on Sneaking actually. Mario kind of swapping Mel out to make sure he survives. Yeah, he'll give his own life for it though.
Those are a couple of track kills.
Yeah,
yep.
Exactly.
That swap almost killed Snaking. I'm really surprised they actually did that. Though Snaking did get out alive, so I guess it's alright. Of course, Vengeful didn't, so maybe you call into question whether or not they should have done it in the first place. But in the end, I mean, power of friendship, losing MJW is huge. The fact that Bounty Hunter can solo kill him, whether or not it was actually a solo or if you just picked him off with a flying shuriken toss bouncing to him, that doesn't entirely matter. The point being that Flying Zebra has been having a huge impact. MJW needs to be alive in the fights for these to work, and if both are kind of meeting head to head and MJW is falling, then you've got a huge problem. Power of friendship, thing to prioritize keeping MJW alive, maybe go for another Aegis Immortality on him, which will be up fairly soon. But also Snaking, he's feeling a little bit squishy right now, so BKB possibly is going to be his next item. Or if he goes Desolator, then if they do get another Aegis, they are going to have to put it on him. So I think MJW needs to tank up a little bit.
Yeah, either MJW tanks up and Mine's not exactly helping immediately with that, or Sneaking gets some damage, because as good as Death Prophet is, you need some sort of secondary damage source at some point, right? You just can't risk going into the later parts of the mid game with the DP alone as a major damage dealer. And if Sneaking goes for BKB now after Lincoln Sphere, I feel like it's just way too defensive for him to. It's something they just can't afford. But it looks like they want to be straddling for late game anyway. I mean, with the Midas on Slaughter, I mean, it's not exactly a pushing item, especially 22 minutes into the game.
The reason I can see it happening is because of a lot of their damage coming from this minus armor strategy they've got, but you're 100% right. BKB is a very defensive item, so the Desolator might be exactly what they want to go for here. Again, my issue with it is that Snaking is so damn squishy that it could be the downfall of him, but they're going to go for another push. EnemyGG have their big cooldowns up, so we'll see if they can defend.
Well, there's Slay actually swapped in, but forced out back out, and vacuum into the wall, into the corner. Slicks, of course, staying alive because he's a Death Prophet. Everyone else also able to make a way out, so a lot of shots fired, especially from enemy. They're using some of the big ultimates, and I guess the wall's still working here just by keeping them away. Mario just eats Sunstrike to the face, but I mean, the wall's still in position where POF obviously don't really want to cross that, but still, once that wall goes down, I guess once the wall goes down, also the Death Road ultimate goes down, so this is the main factor for POF to say, alright, let's just try this again a little bit later, just cut our losses, which were fairly limited here.
And they'll both be back up in about the same time, so every single time you want to push with an Exorcism, the wall is pretty much going to be up. So actually it looks like Chenkrease might return. Oh, the Tornado keeping them in place. Slayer on point with that, so well done. But this is beginning to get... Okay, it was scary in the last time that EnemyGG pushed them off of their towers, but it's beginning to get even more scary. the fact that EnemyGG are holding their own, Banana Slam Jamma has got his Manta style, so wasn't going Sanjay Yasha, mind you, which I can see being a good option. He can dodge out a couple of stuns if it's used correctly timed. Also, he can farm and push a lot faster, so I do like the item. It's actually, I prefer it over Sanjay Yasha often, but I just don't see it that often, which is why I don't call it. The big thing here,
Mario.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
Mario is.
A lot to say there. Is he gonna get denied? No. Okay.
No.
That would have been a little bit interesting. But now they're gonna turn this into a Roche fight. By the looks of it, we do snaking out on on the up. Flying Zero actually caught a glimpse of him.
They bought it. Someone bought a gem recently. Who was it? I think someone bought a gem. Am I going crazy?
I don't see it in anyone. Maybe it was the Octarine from left of it.
Is under attack.
Looks kind of
okay,
sometimes,
well,
but, yeah.
maybe I'm just going crazy. All right, but still, because I was gonna say there were very few sentry wards up for EnemyGG to take that Roche safely. They do have a sentry ward up on the high ground, so it does help a bit. But you could have possibly have a, Weaver come in and steal the Aegis that direction. Not really a smart thing to do though. So they're smart to back out of the Roche pit. Snaking is smart not to go any further than he could. And he'll time-lapse back out. Flying Zebra not able to get the track off, and both teams will park themselves by the Roche pit.
We're at this point in the game again, right? Where they just once again wait for an opportunity to engage on either side, really. It's a similar kind of situation that we saw up on the high grounds in the top lane. Just a bit of a different surrounding here and a different price to claim, but looks like POF, they have a plan. They're smoked out, they're wrapping around, but hey, they're out of the picture for the time being. Frozen, he got his Requiem of Souls. He used it just before it expired. I'm gonna use that to take the Roche off their own, and if POF, if they're not catching on quick enough, they might actually be able to get away with it, but now completing the wraparound Slayer on the outside here. Michael Card will get caught by NJW, but where's the follow-up here? Call down will hit on a couple of heroes. Vacuum though only on one. A little bit of a disrupted fight here with spells going every which way, but well, there's still Slicks with the actual Requiem Souls going, doing the damage that POF need. They do bring down the Rubik first. Side of EnemyGG, everyone else though able to make it out, but hey, the Roche is still up and running. Flying Zebra's dead. Can he make it happen? He can! He steals the Aegis!
No way!
Oh my god!
Zebra! Oh my god!
That's
beautiful. Beautiful Flying Zebra.
Jaycopter gets slaughtered. Oh god. They were still going at it. Okay, I didn't even realize that. I was just too bamboozled by their play.
Banana Slam Jamma did get taken out by Snaking eventually, so that's not exactly... Yeah, they did buy a gem. Snaking's got a gem.
Oh, there we go.
Look at that. All right. But beautiful deny, or at least snatch by Flying Zebra. Are you calling Exorcism Requiem of Souls? I'm just trying to get a gauge, because I heard you...
I could be, yeah, I could be.
I heard somewhere you're like, Rubik has just uses Requiem of Souls because it was about to expire. I'm like, wait a second. Are we talking about the same game here? It's a beautiful thing to call Exorcism. Like, it really is.
Yeah, I mean, Exorcism is just like... I mean... How is it really an exorcism, right? An exorcism, I think of the movie Exorcism, right? Where they're just...
Well, it's a witch, You exorcise the demons out of a witch.
But why would you exorcise herself?
An article of faith.
Right? It's not she's exorcising herself. More, it's an exorcism. It's like it's being performed. I don't know. Just...
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. See, you can't even...
Okay, this gem on Slayer...
Yeah,
oh boy.
That's worth...
Or the gem on Snaking that affects Slayer, but yeah, it's really good. I mean, EnemyGG, they can't keep getting picked off like this, as their courier, speaking of getting picked off, Flying Zebra's got no escape from Snaking, though. They'll pop a dust to keep him off, though. The Shuri flies out. It's going to get hit, or blocked by the Lincoln Sphere. Snaking still chasing down. They've got NJW. He'll come in. They clean up the Aegis. A call down happens. Snaking in a bit of trouble. Needs a time-lapse. Gets it off barely, and is able to scooch on out of there. Frozen still on the chase. Just needs a Fade Bolt, but 5 seconds before he can cast it. He'll blink forward. Still chasing down Snaking, but Way2's there. Slicks is also providing a little bit of coverage to help their bug get out. They're going to turn and maybe fight now. Frozen's a little deep. Flying Zebra as well. Remember, they still have this Gem of True Sight on their Weaver. MJW goes in, but can't quite find it. Sees Frozen, but can't get the amplified damage off to reveal. So it looks like that fight is just a whole bunch of cat and mouse. No one really getting the major initiation off.
Seems to be the story of the game, right? I mean, we see that time and time again, both teams trying to find an angle, but both teams just have barely enough sustain to make it hard for the other to keep going, right? I mean, if you think about it, POF, the only burst damage that they really have right now is that...
Oh, Snake Egg, he could go down, this is huge!
Oh my god,
boy.
it is.
That can't be happening. Did he drop the gem? Yeah, Frozen instantly picked up the gem after he died, and Flying Zebra will now carry it. That is one of the bigger turnarounds I think I've seen this fight. The gem switching hands makes Bounty's life so much easier to get these tracks off, and it makes Snake King's life a whole lot harder. So
they're gonna find all these wards too.
Oh yeah.
POF are gonna be flying blind soon.
Well, they haven't found any of them yet, but we'll see him soon. MJW, he's getting pinged out in the mid lane. It seems EnemyGG, they want to kill him so bad. Can't quite find their initiation. Maybe here it is. Flying Zebra's gonna find it. Gets the Shuri out. They get the telekinesis. Sunstrike's there, and all the damage in the world will be enough to bring down MJW.
Well, he has become a little bit more tanky now with the picking up the Ogre Club. They're building into the BKBs now to try and negate the effects of the Darkseer and the Invoker to some extent, but it's a little bit too late because the Gyrocopter, he's hitting a 3k gold right now. BSJ won't be too long until he's in a position to pick up the slack when it comes to physical damage on the side of enemy.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, Banana Slam Gemma, speaking of his damage, he's about to, I mean, okay, yeah, we'll have a fight. Maybe it's not a fight, call down will be spent, but still, neither team solidifying the initiation. Snake King, though.
If they can pick them off, there's a swap back on Frozen, though, but that's a noble sacrifice, a worthy trade. They do get the Weebo once again in there. Mario, did he get out? Wait, where's he? Yeah, Frozen got out. No one was really able to focus on him, so hey, it's a worthy trade for enemy, and now no buyback on the Weaver means that they have all the space in the world to actually chip away at this tier 3.
Yeah, this is trouble.
It doesn't have BKB himself, so has to be a little bit careful about being caught by the Slaughter blinking in. But
EnemyGG, all they gotta do is back off, reset, and go back in. I mean, Snake King's still dead for 30 seconds, and I don't know if Enemy realized he doesn't have buyback yet, but...
Blink, crush on the BSJ, Slicks with the ultimate and the BKB, looking to do the damage here. BSJ still control up, silenced up now, swap back, they really want to bring down the Gyrocopter. They will be able to, despite Slayer popping his ultimate, his combo in, more or less. MJW looking for more Slayer, lifted up into the air to set up for the stun. And yeah, a bit of an overextension and the lack of a BKB on the Gyrocopter meant that they couldn't really help them. Just to reveal the BKB on Slicks as well, I believe. I don't know if he's used it before. That was a 10-second charge. Maybe caught them a little bit off guard. Yeah,
a swap back under a full exorcism, like, you don't survive that. And especially so that he doesn't have a BKB or anything. Like, it doesn't, not that a BKB matters in that scenario, but even if it just helps you to not have all the other sources of damage coming through or the other stuns coming through, like, maybe you just walk away. But he got brought in and he got locked down underneath that exorcism, and all those ghosts, you know, wanting to steal his soul, they got it. He gets taken out, but I think the follow-up kill they got on the Invoker was even more important. Slayer going down on top of Banana Slam Gemma is really what solidified that fight for Power of Friendship. So now you've got the Desolator completed, the BKB is coming in for Snake King very soon, and then what do? So far Snake King's been super squishy to most of the magical burst damage coming through, but if he has a BKB, and especially a 10-second BKB, like, that next fight is going to be so hard for EnemyGG to continue to just do what they've been trying to do, which is, you know, win the fights, push the high ground, and end the game. Flying Zebra, though, not losing the gem is the second most important thing about that fight after the Invoker dying. Is the fact that they didn't give up the gem is one of the things that really makes it. And whether or not Power Friendship buy another gem, I still haven't seen any signs of them doing so, so they will go just straight for the Sentry route. But if they don't buy another gem, then this Bounty Hunter, once again, is just a huge problem for them. Same thing with Slayer. Popping in to the Ghost Walk could be, could make or break a fight.
Could indeed, but it looks like Power Friendship, with that recent extra momentum that they've been able to garner on themselves again, and putting Slicks way on top of the net worth chart too. I mean, we haven't really talked about it as much, but he has BKB, Octarine, Yules, and 3k gold in the bank. How do they actually kill this guy? Right, that's my question. He has 99 health points, 7 armor, so decent enough. They should be able to get his ultimate going, common spirit siphons, and the Yules, and then he's invincible for 2.5 seconds. 2.75, I should say. Not 2.5, never mind. And this is time we will heal up from the exorcism spirits. There we go. Use the right word this time. So it's just whatever else he could got out, and he will be healed up back to full, similar to how Satanic would work on a gyrocopter, right? I mean, how do you kill this guy now?
Well, the obvious answer would be to outlast him in the fight, but to nitpick a little bit more, I think they really maybe have to focus on him a little bit more. Like, a lot of their damage has been focused on Snake King and MJW, and rightfully so. But when you've got Exorcism, which is doing so much in each and every team fight, maybe you just put all of your damage on him and hopefully try to pop him before a BKB. If he gets the BKB off, then I think your best bet is to just try your best to disengage and wait for that Exorcism to end, or get a whole lot of right-click damage on Banana Slam Jamma and maybe use that to just kind of click him down. In the end, Banana Slam Jamma is getting a good amount of right-click. He didn't go for the Butterfly. He went instead for the Ethereal Blade, so more agility at the cost of no evasion and no extra movement speed. But and in the long run, it should help him bring down what we were talking about, bring down Slicks, and maybe help in the team fight by making his flat cannon a little bit stronger. But for all intents and purposes, as far as its utility goes, the Ethereal Form doesn't exactly help him, except if he uses it on himself during Exorcism. Maybe that'll save him.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about that, and it's kind of, oh god, hang on, might see a fight here, combo on 2. Slayer drops the ball, sneaking here. He will get lifted up into the air by Frozen Needle on the back. ESJ keeps him away with a call down. He actually catches sneaking at the edge of it, but no extra follow-up. So once again, we're in this kind of a situation where both teams staring down the gun of each other. And now Enemy? Well, I thought actually POF were in the pit. Pop a vacuum for it, which is a decent sized cooldown even. So, but POF, they really want to engage just yet. Instead they smoke up. MJW a bit tardy to the party. So could be a little bit annoying as he's the main initiator here right now. Might still catch Sovereign though, with the ward spotting him out.
This is trouble as far as initiation goes. They're changing the tune though. They want BSJ. Remember, no BKB.
Oh, he is actually dead right now. Now he's gonna get the E-Blade off himself here. That'll stop a lot of that physical damage, but still plenty of different damage sources to bring him down between the 5 of them. Now there's a BKB from MJW. Stops any sort of counter potential from the Invoker. At least it's a charge down, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh god, they even find Frozen on the side.
Almost jukes him out.
Oh god, Slayer. Swap back, silence up, crush up. He will die too. Sovereign with the back and back, but that's about all you can really do.
So I mean, no one so far at EnemyGG has bought a BKB. And as such, you've got a couple of stuns and a whole lot of magical damage coming out from Power of Friendship. Even though, yeah, there are a huge amount of physical damage, it still might be a good idea to at least get it on, say, Banana Slam Jamma, maybe Slayer. But it looks like Slayer is going a little bit more. He wants that Octarine, or, you know, whatever he's going to build with that Soul Booster. Yeah. And maybe they'll bring down Slicks here, but he gets himself away. It's going to be MJW moving forward, looking for the initiation. Gets 2 with his Stomp, but can't do much more. They're going to drop the wall as Banana Slam Jamma is trying to deal the deeps. Snake King's going to walk away from it, though. And Power of Friendship, I mean, they're relatively unscathed. EnemyGG might want to chase this, but remember that problem they had with chasing. Hopefully, they don't over-engage themselves, but it looks like Power of Friendship are just hoping to get out of this one. They're not looking to turn at all. Mario might be in a bit of trouble, as Flying Zebra will throw the track off, continue going after it, but after Mario gets deep into his own territory, it looks like they'll back off. EnemyGG looks like they want to go ahead and grab the Roshan after it.
And they kind of need to right now. The Aegis and the cheese on this particular edition, POF. They haven't been picked off beforehand, and now they're getting themselves into a position to contest this. And Enemy, they don't exactly have the best Riosh lineup, especially compared to POF with all the Mind Farm and physical damage that they have. So they just can't sneak it really quick and then rely on the fact that they're just too quick for POF. They just have to know that the initiation is gonna come, especially with sneaking and telegraphing that, with the bugs, kind of giving them the vision inside the pit. Most of enemy sitting on the outside, they're waiting to counter initiate, but who
pushes them down 20?
Who actually has the edge here? I mean, there's still plenty of BKBs on the side of POF. No access. Yeah, as I said, that's the big thing. It's just gonna let this go.
But that's an Aegis and Cheese and MJW.
MJW comes in with a BKB, BSJ pushed to the high ground with a force out. Now BKB comes out from Snake, now pops the Exorcism, looking for more here, but instead they're just gonna go boom. BSJ kinda caught a bad spot up top there, sneaking, and meanwhile cleaning house in the back of his own BKB, keeping him alive quite a bit here. Now even time is to do something damage. Slayer caught with the stun, a couple more right clicks will pop that Aegis, and everything just seems to be falling apart for Enemy here. They haven't cleaned anyone on the side of POF in the second line as well. Not much of one. He dies within a second or so, and yeah, buybacks already have to be forced out because the middle lane has been pushing in the range tracks, just dying to the Chen creeps in the meantime.
The melee racks actually went down, dude. Like, okay, Flying Zebra may have very well just destroyed Power of Friendship's chances in this game. That 4-staff up onto the high ground, whether intentional or not, probably not intentional. That was the coup de grace right there. For actually maybe Venge got it. I saw it on cooldown for Flying Zebra, so it actually might have been Mario to get that 4-staff in.
Back on BSJ, he just gets annihilated. Nice little back and wall, but it's too little too late here. I feel like sneaking, well, onto some of the damage once again. There's a time lapse. He doesn't really care. I mean, the Slayer and BSJ are both down for the count. They don't have any damage to throw up against POF anymore. Just gonna be able to slowly right-click this down and then get Megas.
Okay, Snaking's attacking really fast right now. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure. I think at least this set of racks is gonna go down. They'll back off, and they'll only get the melee, it looks like. But that is a super good thing to get out of that fight. And I'll go back to it again. I'm not quite sure who did that 4-staff anymore because Venge is the 4-staff, but whoever did, that was a brutal thing to happen to BSJ there. Forcing him to pop his buyback because, well, he died immediately in that fight. Neither time did he get his cheese off. Smart that he didn't cast it by the Roche pit. But in that last fight, I mean, it's so troublesome for EnemyGG now to be down 2 sets of melee racks and to have everything in their base exposed. Meanwhile, Power of Friendship still have a tier 2 standing and all of their tier 3s up. And Snaking, of course, is doing a massive sum of damage with Desolator and MKB. The chances right now for EnemyGG are running very slim. Slayer is still a force to be reckoned with on the Invoker, and you gotta constantly watch out for him. Same thing with Frozen on this Rubik. But as far as Banana Slam Gemma's impact in this game goes, I'm thinking he's feeling a little weak right now. If they can keep him alive for more than 10 seconds in the fight, we'll start to see him become a problem. But for now...
Oh god, what? Frozen almost dies, 3 right clicks strong from the Weaver. BSJ at the same time in the back gets caught in the crush and tries to turn around here with the flat can, keeps himself alive a little bit longer. But ultimately it was just a casual feed. Someone will get tracked down with a swap out even on the Exorcism, and 3 more heroes down for the count. Every lane is being pushed in. That will be Magas here at the end of it all.
Yeah.
Just looking at net worth distribution, and yeah, it's hard to come back on 20k. A net worth deficit, especially if your base is in shambles. And the GG is called. EnemyGG will lose the second game in tonight's installment of WePlay Season 3. POF though, well, they put another point on the board. Good for them indeed. Puts them to 5-2, I want to say. I'm gonna go check that real quick.
Well, regardless, I mean, what a fantastic game played by Power of Friendship. It looked like they were a little bit shakier earlier on, but they proved that they are the bigger team here. They ended up outlasting, bringing the game past where it looked